Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're taking a close look at a topic that is absolutely 100% critical for any first-year manufacturing engineering technology student, or honestly, anyone stepping onto a machine shop floor. We're talking about setting up a CNC lathe machine workpiece. Now, you might think you just chuck a piece of metal into the machine, slam the door, and press the green button, right? Well, actually, scratch that. It is so much more than that. A proper workpiece setup dictates literally everything. It controls your machining accuracy, your dimensional tolerance, the life of your cutting tools, and most importantly, your personal safety. If you get the setup wrong, the machine doesn't care. It's just going to execute the program, which can lead to scrapped parts or even severe accidents. So we're going to break down the exact steps you need to follow to get this right every single time. So here is our roadmap for the day. We'll be hitting 5 main areas: introduction and safety first, planning and machine prep, workpiece installation and runout, setting workpiece 0, and finally, verification and common errors. Let's get to it.
Section 1, Introduction and Safety First.
Okay, before you even think about touching any metal, you absolutely must run through this crucial safety checklist, because failing to do so compromises your safety right out of the gate. First things first, personal protective equipment, or PPE. Your safety glasses and steel-toed boots, totally non-negotiable. Put them on. Next, perform a visual machine inspection. You really want to check that the emergency stop function is working properly. Then, get in there and clean the chuck jaws. Remove any chips and coolant residue from previous jobs. Seriously, a single tiny metal chip caught in the chuck jaws can completely ruin your part's alignment. And finally, if you're doing maintenance or changing out major components, implement standard lockout/tagout procedures. Remember, industrial Hasha or Fanuc CNC lathes have an incredible amount of torque. Safety isn't just a suggestion here, it's step 1 of your entire machining process.
Moving right along to Section 2, Planning and Machine Prep. Understanding and identifying the machining datum is essential before we even start prepping the machine. Why? Because improper datum selection leads straight to machining defects. Think of the datum as your anchor. When you look at an engineering drawing, all the critical dimensions, the lengths, diameters, depths, they all originate from this exact point. If you misidentify where the datum is supposed to be on your raw material, well, every subsequent cut the CNC machine makes will be entirely off. It's essentially the translation point between the blueprint and the physical metal sitting right in your hands. Identifying your raw material type dictates your choice of chuck jaws, and you need to ensure the perfect grip without damaging the workpiece. If you're working with softer materials like aluminum or maybe a pre-machined surface that absolutely cannot be scratched, you'll want to select soft jaws. These can actually be machined to perfectly match the profile of your specific part. On the flip side, if you're clamping down on rough stock like mild steel or super dense stainless steel, hard jaws are your go-to. They bite right into the raw material securely, providing that aggressive grip you need to withstand heavy cutting forces. Selecting the wrong jaw type is a recipe for disaster. You'll either crush your delicate part, or worse, let a heavy steel billet slip out during a high-speed cut. You'll need to execute these rigid steps to prep your Haas or Fanuc machine. First up, home all the machine axes. This tells the machine's computer exactly where it is in physical space. Then, give the spindle and chuck one last rigorous cleaning. Next, inspect that hydraulic chuck mechanism. Finally, and this is absolutely critical, verify the chuck pressure. Look, if you use too much pressure on a thin-walled part, you'll distort it. Too little pressure on a heavy part, it becomes a very dangerous projectile. You must set the pressure gauge to perfectly match the material and the specific gripping requirements of your job. All right, Section 3, Workpiece Installation and Runout. You need to execute these installation steps carefully, avoiding common mistakes like insufficient gripping and excessive overhang. When you insert the workpiece into the chuck, position it exactly to the drawing specifications. You really have to verify your gripping length. By that, I mean checking how much of the material is safely buried inside the jaws versus how much is just sticking out into space. If you have excessive overhang, the part is going to act like a diving board the second the cutting tool hits it. This causes severe vibration, known in the shop as chatter, which will shatter your tools and completely ruin your surface finish. So tighten that chuck securely and ensure your gripping ratio is solid. So the crucial point here is understanding TIR to ensure your part is spinning perfectly true before a cutting tool ever even touches it. Total indicated runout is, simply put, a measurement of wobble. If your part is mounted slightly crooked, or if there's a tiny speck of debris caught under just one of the jaws, the part will rotate in this weird, eccentric oval shape rather than a perfect circle. If you try to machine it like this, no way. Your diameters will be completely out of concentricity.
By using a dial indicator while manually rotating the spindle, you can measure the TIR and perform precise adjustments if the runout exceeds your spec. Here's how you do it. You set the magnetic base of the dial indicator on the machine turret and bring the stylus to rest very lightly against the surface of your workpiece. Then, you manually rotate the chuck by hand. As the part turns, keep your eyes glued to the needle on the dial. If it sweeps back and forth beyond the acceptable tolerance listed on your setup sheet, well, you've got a problem. You'll need to loosen the chuck, tap the workpiece gently with a dead blow hammer to seat it properly, retighten the whole thing, and measure again until that needle barely even twitches. Section 4. Setting Workpiece 0. Grasping the difference between the permanent machine 0 and your custom workpiece 0 is vital for establishing accurate work offsets. Machine 0 is hard-coded by Haas or Menuk right at the factory. It's usually located at the extreme positive limits of the machine's travel. But here's the thing, the machine has absolutely no idea how long your specific piece of metal is. That is exactly where workpiece 0 comes in. You're essentially shifting the grid to match the machining datum you identified earlier on your blueprint. This is how you tell the CNC program, hey, start counting from right here. Carefully setting and storing your X and Z axes guarantees that the CNC program's digital toolpaths will align flawlessly with your physical workpiece. On a lathe, the Z-axis runs longitudinally, so along the length of the part, and the X-axis controls the diameter. To set this up, you typically jog a cutting tool manually until it just barely touches the front face of the part. You record that position in the machine's offset page as Z0. Then you take a quick skim cut along the outside diameter, measure that diameter exactly with a micrometer, and input that value into the X-axis offset. Storing these work offsets correctly is what translates the digital design into perfectly precise physical cuts. Finally, Section 5. Verification and Common Errors. Ask yourselves, what exactly are the consequences of skipping these final verification steps on a high-speed industrial lathe? We are talking about heavy metal spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute. If you just blindly assume you did everything right without checking, the results can be entirely catastrophic. Let's visualize the consequences for a second. Dirty jaws, excessive overhang, or incorrect offsets basically guarantee rejected parts, ruined tools, and massive machine crashes. Think about it. If you set your Z-axis offset exactly 1 inch too deep into the part, the machine doesn't know any better. It's going to drive a $10,000 tool turret directly into your solid steel chuck at rapid speed. That is a nightmare machine crash. Or if you forget to check for runout, you'll spend an hour machining a beautiful part that will immediately fail quality inspection. These common errors are 100% preventable as long as you stay disciplined. By manually rotating the spindle to check clearances and performing a full dry run, you confirm program readiness and guarantee your own safety. You really want to bring your tools close to the chuck and manually rotate it to ensure they won't clip the jaws. You also need to adjust your coolant nozzles so they actually spray the cutting edge, rather than just bouncing off the side of the tool block. And finally, perform a dry run. This means running the CNC program in the air without raw material in the chuck or with the machine's safety features, like single block and rapid override turned on. You just want to watch the toolpaths and verify that everything moves exactly as you expect it to. Internalize this core principle as you head out to the workshop. Mastering this exact procedural foundation is the ultimate key to your success as a machinist. We've covered a lot today. Safety inspections, reading the drawing, prepping the machine, installing the workpiece, checking runout, setting offsets, and doing your final verifications. If you follow this structure, you won't just produce parts with incredible precision, you'll keep yourself and everyone around you safe. A precise workpiece setup really is the foundation of accurate, safe, and high-quality CNC machining. So the next time you step onto the shop floor, ask yourself, if the entire success of a multi-million-dollar manufacturing operation relies on the discipline of the operator before a single button is ever pressed, what does your setup say about you?